Well, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Nancy Stanley, physical therapist, life coach, and health coach, and I'm excited to be here tonight. I've got some information that I think you will be interested in. So if you're over 35 or whatever, anyway, it's just good basic information that so many people ask me about, women, especially the women that are in my challenge, and it's important to know. But before I start talking about that, I wanted to talk to you about this. So y'all know how much I love flowers, and I was recently, okay, I'm trying to get on here and see, I'm trying to do something different tonight. I'm trying to get, the comments, because when you're on Facebook and you're trying to see, I can't see your comments. So I've got my computer down here, so I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to see myself live here. All right, here I am. Yeah. So I hope I'm going to be able to see my comments. All right, but so this plant right here, I know it's kind of big, but it is a bromeliad, and to me they're just beautiful. They're not so beautiful when they don't have a bloom in them. So I bought this. I was at my sister-in-law's and she had one, and she didn't know it. It was in her dining room. It was kind of dark in there, and I looked. I said, Catherine, you got a bloom in there. And we looked down in there, and there was this pink bloom that was way down in there. You couldn't see it. And so she said, I bought it at the local garden store. So I went there. This was at St. Simon. I went there and got me one, and it has just poked its beautiful head up out of the middle of this flower. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to have one. And what happens is I had one years ago. My grandmother grew them, and I had one, and I had it on my coffee table, and it came up, made this beautiful pink bloom, and it stayed there for weeks and weeks. And I just would pour a little water in the neck of it or the throat every week. And so I just wanted to share that with you. So if you don't have a bromeliad, go get you one of these. These to me are the most, the bromeliads are just beautiful to me, but this is just one of the prettiest ones. So I'm going to push it out of the way. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you is, so let's see if I can see over there. Okay, here's Tanya. Hey, Miss Nancy. Okay, so let me, in the comments, please just put, where you're watching from, what is it you want to know about tonight. Maybe you want to learn about hormones. Maybe you want to learn about the microbiome. Maybe you want to know, I've got a trick I'm going to show you about strawberries. And then I was going to show you what we had for supper tonight. So this is a meatloaf recipe that you want. I'm not demoing it, but I cooked it today. I actually cooked 6 of these. This is like one meatloaf, and I cooked 6 of those. And that is a salad with, all right, so the meatloaf recipe, I'm going to send that out in my email that's going out. I think it's going out Thursday. Hey, Alexis, good to see you. And then, so you want the recipe. It's got some balsamic vinegar in it. It's got pork rinds. It's got eggs. It's got beef, grass-fed beef, and it also has some pork, ground pork in it, and some fat, all right, just to make it juicy. And I cook it on like 425 for like 25 minutes because I make these thinner. I don't make a big thick meatloaf. You may want to make yours like that, but I don't. I put it on parchment paper and cook it, but you're going to want that recipe. Now, the other recipe that I'm going to be sending out soon is this salad dressing. It is homemade ranch, and if you've never had homemade ranch, you're missing out. You're just missing out. So this is made with buttermilk. It's made with can't remember if it's mayonnaise or sour cream, but fresh ingredients like dill and chives, and it's just delicious. So I ate one of the tomatoes a while ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that dressing is just so good. So if you've never had homemade ranch, then you definitely want to have it now. And then, I've got a few blueberries and a few strawberries and blackberries on here. Okay, so I see my hairdresser on here. She did my hair today, and I love it. I always love the color that Judy does on my hair. I mean, it just always, to me, it looks so natural, and I always just love visiting with her. She's my cousin, and I love her, and I'm just thankful for her. She's just one of those special people in my life. But let me show you this little strawberry trick. So you see that right there? You know what that is? That is the core out of a strawberry. And I saw this, you may have seen it too, I think it was on Facebook. But what you do is, the post was never cut your strawberries up again. So what you do is you take a straw and you put it on the tip of your strawberry, and you just push it up through there. I've already done this on 2 and it worked perfectly. So let's see. You push it up through there. Oops, that one didn't work quite so perfectly. But anyway, you push it up through there, and it pushes the core part out. All right, and then you pull it out of your straw. So there you go. And then you've got your strawberry. Now on this one, I'd have to pull the leaf. All I have to do is pull the leaves out. So there it is. It's cored. Now I want to tell you about strawberries. Strawberries are probably one of the has the most toxins on them of any fruit. And it's because, you know, they're so porous. Look at it. They're just pores all over them. So if I ever find organic strawberries, I buy a bunch of them, because, you know, you want to buy fruit. Now, avocados, not such a big deal. You don't have to buy organic, but strawberries and even blackberries, if you can find organic, because they absorb the pesticides, and you don't want to eat that, and it's hard to get it off. Now, you do, you know, of course, you want to wash your strawberries. You want to wash all that stuff, but particularly your strawberries, if they're not organic, you want to really be careful. And but let me just show you. I'm going to show you one more time. This is a big one. All right, so watch. I'm going to put my straw right in the end, and I'm going to push it right up toward the core. All right, and then I'm going to pop the core out. See there? It just popped right out, and there it is. I'm going to pull it out. Look at there. And there's your strawberry. Now, you may want to cut that part off that's not real ripe yet, because these weren't the ripest strawberries, but voila, there you go. Okay. I'm going to move this out of the way just because that meatloaf smells really strong, and it's kind of got my attention. All right. Hey, Alexis, I see you on here. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Linda. Yeah. Hey, Donna. Good to see you too. Okay. See, on the phone up here, I can't see who's here, but I can down here. So there's Suzanne. Howard, good to see you too. I don't see you on here. I just see the people that have actually commented. So comment so I can see you when you show up on here. All right, so here's what I want to talk about tonight. And I talked about this last night on the Zoom call with the people that are in my program. But this is really important information, okay? And so here's what I'm seeing in the medical world. I do a lot of research. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of doctors. I follow a lot of doctors. I follow a lot of naturopathic doctors. I follow a lot of MDs. And I'm always just trying to grasp and get the information that you need, that I need, okay, so that we can be as healthy as we can be. You know, I'm 66 years old. I want to live the rest of my life as healthy as I can be. But to do that, I have to have the right information. And so what I'm going to share with you tonight is not what I've just heard from one person. I've heard it from several doctors. I've read it in the literature. There's just a lot of information out there. So I want to start off talking about the microbiome. And you may have heard that word or maybe not. But what that is, it's, to me, I just kind of envision it as a colony, okay? It starts in your mouth. It's literally everywhere, but it starts in your mouth, and it goes all the way to your backside, okay? It follows all the way through your intestines. It goes all the way out to the backside. And what it is, it's where a lot of bacteria live, millions and millions, trillions of bacteria, okay? And there's some good bacteria in there, and there's some bad bacteria in there. Even your hands, I mean, there's bacteria all over your hands. Just little minuscule little microorganisms, okay? The problem is that most people, and when I say most, I'm going to say 9 out of 10 people have an unhealthy microbiome, whether it's in their mouth or whether it's in their gut or whether it's in their intestines or lower intestines. And it's due to what we eat, right? Because naturally we put stuff in our mouth and it either feeds the good bacteria that's in our gut or it feeds the bad bacteria. So, yeah. So you want to have good bacteria growing. And what my clients will tell you is as soon as they join my program, within a week, they begin to heal your gut, healing their gut. And most of them will say, I came off my stomach medicine, I didn't need it anymore. And then they'll say, I'm sleeping more and I'm not hurting as much. And I seem to have more energy. All these things. And think about this now. All that changed was what they were eating, okay? All right, so just keep that in mind, that what we're really working on here is our microbiome, all right? And so now I'm going to switch gears and talk about your hormones. Now, you've got about 50 hormones, but the main ones we think about as women are estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, okay? Now, I'm going to give you some information that if you're, in your 50s and 60s, it's important. But it's also important for you to teach this to your daughters. I did not know this information. I was fortunate that I had a doctor that was up on literature and wasn't in old school about, don't do HRT, don't do hormone replacement therapy. And I stayed on hormones throughout, really until last summer. I'm 66 years old, yeah. And I found out I was BRCA2, and the 3 oncologists I saw said, oh no, you can't take hormones if you're BRCA2. But I've recently started back on my hormones because I've done more research and I found doctors that are like, no, you definitely can take hormones if you're BRCA2. You just need to do surveillance and watch for things, okay? All right, so, okay, so in your late to mid 30s is when your progesterone starts to drop. I mean, and it varies based on, you're having children, or maybe when you started your period. There's just a lot of things that affect our hormones, but that's pretty much, generally, all right? And what happens is that, your progesterone is a natural anti-anxiety hormone. And as it starts to bottom out, you're going to maybe start to have night sweats, you're going to start to feel lousy, especially the week, like right before your menstrual cycle, you're just going to be a hot mess, okay? And so, and then what happens along with that is your testosterone starts to change about the same time. And that's responsible for your bone strength, for your sex, for your mood. I mean, so there are a lot of things, going on in your body. And so you really need to be getting these things checked, all right? And so I'm going to say this over and over. Get these things checked, and if you're noticing a change in the testing, then you need some replacement, okay? All right, so the other thing that happens, and this is a little bit later though, is your estrogen. Your estrogen starts to drop. And that usually happens around your 50s, 40s and 50s. But what happens when that starts dropping is everything dries out. Your mouth dries out, your vaginal area dries out, your skin dries out, your hair dries out, and more importantly, it affects your brain. So you'll notice brain fog. You can't pull a word out of, that you normally would have known. A name maybe, so when your estrogen starts to drop, your memory changes, all right? And you your sleep is interrupted because you're having these night sweats, and then that becomes stressful. So that causes more cortisol to be released, and cortisol is a fat storing hormone. So normally your cortisol is released in the morning and it diminishes as you go through the day. But when maybe you're working a stressful job, or maybe the kids, there are things going on, just all of these things are going on, and your cortisol levels are up, and so that's going to make you have difficulty in losing weight. So, but let's go back to your progesterone. When you lose your progesterone, you get anxious, you become negative, you become critical. It's really like you're going nuts, okay? So, and then your testosterone, again, is a mood stabilizer, and it keeps you motivated. So as those things start to drop, you're like, who is this person? I don't know who this person is. So, describing you, I know it, Lisa. Yeah, describing myself too. So let me see. I don't know why I'm not able to see the comments here, but maybe I can see them in a minute. Maybe they'll pop up. Okay. So ask a question. If you have a question, put a question in the comments. Maybe they'll pop up here. Maybe I need to refresh. Let me see what happens if I refresh. Okay. All right. Yep. Hey Donna, I see you here. I had a hysterectomy, been on hormones for years. There you go, Lisa. Okay, so I am going to say this. If you're taking synthetic hormones, I would strongly consider a bioidentical. And I meant to bring mine in here, but it's a little lotion that is in a little click thing. I click it twice, and then I spread it on my wrist, and I rub my wrist together. But synthetics are, so let me just say this. Women, studies have shown that women on HRT, that's hormone replacement therapy, live longer, okay? And bioidentical hormones don't have the risk for breast cancer. Now, I'm not your doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just giving you medical information for you to do the research. But you need to be asking your doctor about these things. Don't just assume, don't just take hormones just because you think you need them. They need to be testing you, and the best test is going to be the Dutch test. And you can actually buy those on Amazon, but you know, I'd probably talk to your doctor about it because you want to get an interpretation. So you get the test, you find out what's going on, and then they prescribe your bioidentical hormones. And there's all kinds. You can do pellets, you can do, I think there's suppositories, there's just all kinds, all right? But you definitely need to have your hormones. And I'm about to tell you a few more reasons why, but I just named like antidepressant, anti-anxiety, motivation. You know, so the first thing that happens usually with women when they go to the doctor and they say they're depressed, what are they going to do? They're going to put them on an antidepressant. And those things have side effects. That's a medication with side effects. But why wouldn't you just have your hormones checked and let them give you that? So this is information you need to be sharing with your daughters. If they're in their 30s, maybe they're still childbearing and they don't, think that they'll ever get there. But I'm telling you, you'll get there, and then you'll be in the middle of it, and next thing you know, you're on medication that really you could have been on a hormone, which, you know, hormones, I guess, would be considered medication, but it's not. It's not the same, all right, as those drugs, all right. So, all right. So the thing I want to tell you though is 70% of your hormones are produced in your gut. So back to the microbiome. If your gut is not healthy, then you won't be able to produce these hormones. So what happens if you don't have a healthy gut? You're gonna make beta-glucuronidase, all right? I know that's a long word. And what happens with that, if you have that produced, then it's going to cause the reabsorption of estrogen, all right? And so you're going to be estrogen dominant, and you don't want to be that because there's definitely some side effects to that. If your progesterone is low, you can be constipated. So I know I suffered from chronic constipation, but as long as I had my progesterone levels up, it was definitely better. And I'm doing, you know, some other things. I'm taking some pretty specific probiotics for that. So yeah, so you want to be tested. You want to get therapy through medication, through the HRT or whatever your doctor thinks, and then you want to take it, and then you want to be tested again, because you want to make sure that it's working. Okay, your night sweats may go away, or your hot flashes may go away, but there may be some other factors that you need to look at. So get tested. Okay, all right. So I think I said this already, but the Dutch test tests about 35 different hormones, and it also measures your E1, 2, and 3, so like your estrone, your estradiol, and your estriol. So estriol, and so you want to know what those are. So there's some that are like E1, I think is going to be breast protective. E2 is going to be more breast risk, cancer risk. And then E3 is going to be like bone protective. So there are definitely things you want to know about that. All right, so what makes our hormones so wacky is, first of all, I'm talking about after when they start declining, and is number one, hormones are made by nutrients. And if you're not getting good nutrients, and if your gut is broken, then you're not going to be able to produce these hormones, particularly like cholesterol. So if you're on a statin drug and it's, you know, your doctor wants to drive your cortisol, your cholesterol down to the dirt, then you're not going to be able to make these hormones that you need. All right, so 120 is not too low, you know. So again, you're going to check with your doctor, but I just don't. There's just too much information out there about cholesterol now. We know it's not related to heart disease anymore, and certainly fat isn't related to heart disease. So I will tell you this, that 50% of women die from heart disease, not breast cancer, okay? So, and now we know that lower estrogen, losing all of your estrogen, is also related to Alzheimer's. So I think, if anything, I'd rather have heart disease than Alzheimer's. You know, my mom moved in with me and died at 67 pounds with Alzheimer's, so it's definitely not a pleasant disease. So, and 2 out of the 3 people that have Alzheimer's are women. So I know we want to protect ourselves and our gut. I'm going to do another whole live. I'll probably do it Thursday night on how your gut and your brain is connected, the gut-brain connection. I've just been in a summit where there were 50 doctors talking about this very thing, okay? So after menopause, women are a little bit more susceptible to heart disease, but before menopause, you know, they're definitely not as susceptible. So if you've been on these diets, the vegan diet, the SAD diet, the standard American diet, the low-fat diet, and you're on statins, then there's a very good chance that your gut I'm just going to say, your gut's not healthy. And it doesn't even matter if you're not overweight. You just got to have those good microbiomes to produce that. Those good nutrients are going to produce those good hormones. Okay. Okay, so let me just say this. You can't just take a pill from your doctor. That's not going to give you good health. And I think if there's anything you could take away from this, it would be that there are a lot of things, a plethora of things that you can do to improve your health. And so I'm going to name a few. There's about 12 or 14. And you think about it as I'm naming these, how really hard would it be to get there? So my clients that are on here, they'll hit the love button, I know, when I say this, but when you feel as good as I feel and have the energy that I have, in fact, I was talking to one of my clients today. I said, you know, you'd never go back to that cereal for breakfast or oatmeal for breakfast and a sandwich for lunch and chicken and french fries for supper. You know, eat out, dine out, whatever. She goes, heck no, I feel so good. I think she's lost 50-something pounds. But even without the weight loss, just feeling good and having good health, it's just such a valuable thing. And so one of the things I say to my clients, or we say, is we get to be healthy. We don't have to be healthy. We get to be healthy. And we don't, and then we move from getting to be healthy to I love to be healthy. Okay, so I'm seeing Alexa saying, if your hormones aren't healthy, then your brain isn't healthy. That is exactly right. She watched Dr. Mindy Peltz and Dr. Amen today, and I watched that video too. And he just Dr. Amen, if you've never followed him before, he'll just pretty much say, if your gut's not healthy, then your hormones are not going to be healthy, and your brain is not going to be healthy. It's all connected. So let me say, if there's, sometimes some people say, what is the one thing you would do to get healthy? And I think Alexis today, when I brought that up, or last night when I brought that up on the Zoom call, she said, join your program. That's the one thing you can do, because in my program, we cover all these things. So number one is I teach you what to eat, exactly what to eat. You're never going to wonder again. So hit the love button, y'all, if you're in my program. Or the like button if you've learned exactly what to eat. You're never going to wonder again, what am I supposed to be eating? Number two, I teach you that you really need to work on your sleep. You need to get uninterrupted sleep, okay? Number three, you need to get plenty of hydration, a lot of water. You need to drink about, a gallon of water a day, okay? You need to eat, like I said, optimal foods. Intermittent fasting is going to be a great way to heal your gut and heal your body, because I teach you how to do that so that you can literally give your gut a chance to heal, and that happens in the first 30 days of my program. You need to exercise, and you need to do strength training, not just walking. Walking is great, you need to do that, but strength training is really important. We need to build muscle, and especially women over 40, we really need to build muscle, and that's what I do in my program. I teach a exercise group. It's 20 minutes. We do it 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes 5 days a week, and we're actually working on strength training. We start off slow, and then we add to it. So it's important that you do that. You need to get sunlight. When you wake up in the morning, you need to go outside and look at the sun. You don't need to look directly at the sun, but look in the direction of the sun so that it goes into your eyes. Take your contacts off when you're out in the sun and get that good sunlight, those ultraviolet rays. You need those. They will stimulate your mitochondria, which is going to stimulate your metabolism, and it's just good for healing, okay? And then grounding, walking outside barefoot, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, she's off her rocker. She thinks I'm going to walk outside barefooted. Well, if you're on here, make a comment if you're one of my clients and you know how good it feels. Like today, I got out there and grounded today, and it felt so good. Even though it was a little chilly, I did it, and it just really made me feel great. So grounding is another thing. And then meditation. I teach you how to do meditation. We go through the 12 steps, how to get rid of your addiction, how to deal with your addiction, how to deal with your negative thoughts. But the best thing you can do for yourself is wake up in the morning with gratitude. It's vitamin G. My friend Ben Azadi says that, and I love that. It's just expressing gratitude and being positive about the day. And then when you lay down at night, Dr. Amen said this today. He lays there and he says, what good happened today? And just recall those things. And Dr. Carolyn Leaf, one of my favorite doctors to follow, she says, we literally form new brain pathways when we think positive thoughts. And so that's what I want to leave you with tonight, is you literally can change your brain with using your mind. Your mind can change the structure of your brain. And so remember now, if I don't have your email, give me your email. If you want more information, just message me. I'd love to send you a video telling you more about the program. And before you leave, I want you to write in the comments, what are the one thing you're doing that's really helping you to get healthier. And I know for me, as I am working on my strength training, I'm getting stronger. I had some major surgery back in the fall, and I noticed, it was like 12 weeks that I couldn't do anything. But now that I'm stronger, I'm feeling so much more confident. Yeah. Okay, so remember that tip about the strawberries? Get the meatloaf recipe, get the salad dressing recipe, and let me hear from you. Please comment, and I'd love to talk to you. We could get on the phone if it's something you might be interested in, but I'd love to get you in this program. So Sherry, I love it that you're eating better. Yes, and the good thing about that is if you eat better, you're going to feel better, and you're going to be better. Let's see, Alexa, let's see what it works. Let's see. Sherry says she's eating better. Drinking more water, that's definitely a good thing. First thing in the morning when you get up, you need to just drink down a big glass of tap water, because you're really dehydrated when you first get up. Yeah. So Alexa says she had leaky gut before she started the program, and now it's gone. Yes, it is. Okay, working on your mobility, walking more. Way to go. Cindy says I've been on hormone therapy for years. So Cindy, is that synthetic, or is it bioidentical? I would ask you that question, and you can ask your doctor that. You have to have a compounding pharmacy to get those bioidenticals, and they're usually not covered by insurance. But to me, it's worth it, especially considering my high risk with the BRCA2. So, okay, thank y'all for joining me. Share this video if you know somebody that needs this information, and we'll talk soon. Y'all have a great day.